To some people, the Toronto Raptors 2019 NBA championship was very improbable, and to those people and many others, it is even more improbable to see them repeat as champions. But in this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why the Toronto Raptors will in fact repeat and go back to back as NBA champions. Let's get into it. This is Amateur Hour Sports. This is Jacob Hayes talking to you about why the Raptors are still contenders for that Larry O'Brien, getting it back-to-back years. 5 reasons why this is the case. Let's get right into the video. Reason number 1 is their defense. They are so talented on defense. They showed it all through this season, and it was right under the bright lights and the cameras last season during the playoffs, showing that elite tier defense, especially against the Milwaukee Bucks, against Giannis Antetokounmpo, the NBA MVP of last season. He didn't have a great series by his numbers, but the likes of Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe as well, this is a bit of an underrated part of that series. Those guys had really bad series against the Toronto Raptors, and Giannis wasn't great either, and it's because of the elite defense showcased by the Toronto Raptors. And it wasn't all just Kawhi Leonard, like Kawhi is the Giannis stopper. It is by no means the Kawhi Leonard show. It was by no means ever the Kawhi Leonard show. Obviously was the best player for the Raptors over the course of the playoffs last year, but it was a great team effort all the way around, and I'm going to get to more about the other players involved in that. But for that series, the way Nick Nurse put out the team to kind of funnel Giannis into a crowded paint and make him kick out to guys who took lightly contested shots, and Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe having to take those shots that maybe weren't exactly ideal. And those guys, you know what? They had a cold series against the Toronto Raptors, but we're not going to let, the Giannis's beat us in those types of series. We're going to let you beat us with those other guys. And if they start drilling their shots like George Hill, who I think was the best shooter in that series for the Bucks, and he's been one of the best shooters in the NBA so far this season, but if those guys are going to drill their shots, so be it. But we're not going to let those top players beat us. So a lot of teams won't have those elite pieces around there to kind of pile down on the Toronto Raptors, which is why their defense is so key and their defensive plans are so key. They have the second best defensive rating in the entire NBA, only behind the Milwaukee Bucks so far in this regular season. We'll see how everything transpires in the bubble. But they got some killers on defense. Like OG Anunoby, I think, is on a trajectory to be a potential Defensive Player of the Year candidate at some point in his career because he can guard any of the 5 positions, and he has done so over the course of this season. In fact, earlier this season, he played basically as a 5 when we had so many injuries. He played as a 5 against Karl Anthony Towns. Yes, the 7-foot center, Karl Anthony Towns, who had a very poor game against the Toronto Raptors because OG Anunoby was guarding him. And as a rookie, OG Anunoby did a bit of a job on LeBron James. I know obviously the Raptors were a little bit humiliated over the course of that series, but as a rookie, OG Anunoby did a tremendous job against LeBron James. And you can only do so much against a guy like LeBron James, but OG Anunoby showed that he can be a defensive killer in the NBA. Marc Gasol is also a fucking wall on defense. He is a bit of a Joel Embiid killer. And I hope those words don't haunt me, but was great against Embiid in the playoffs last year when the Sixers took us to 7 games where Kawhi Leonard hits that miracle shot to win that series. But Marc Gasol in the regular season, when we played against the Sixers, Joel Embiid put up a goose egg, a big fat goose egg, 0 points. Marc Gasol is Joel Embiid's father. Happy Father's Day, Mark. Moving on to the second reason, which is media. These boys have not been in the media at all. You've got all these other big teams like the Los Angeles Lakers. So many guys in the media, a lot of uncertainty about guys coming, like Avery Bradley deciding he doesn't want to play for whatever his personal reasons. That's okay with him. But Dwight Howard as well, kind of on the fence at the moment. It looks like he will be playing, but Dwight Howard's a bit on the fence. A lot of teams like the Nets have have so many guys who aren't showing up, a lot of guys causing problems in the media lately, but the Raptors have been zip tight. They are just going about their business, doing their work, staying in quarantine, no COVID cases of the Toronto Raptors. They are just doing their work and getting ready for this playoffs. They're hungry for another championship. They had the taste, and winning is contagious. They want to go out and win again. They are staying clean out of the media, trying to focus on the basketball. It reminds me of the killer focus they showed in the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors, where they went up 3-1. They won back-to-back games at the Oracle, were up 3-1 in the series, and didn't even celebrate going up 3-1. They just walked blank-faced back into the locker room because they knew the job was not done. That's what this reminds me of. They are going in. They are killers going into the postseason. Reason number 3, they have multiple game-winning caliber players. I mean, obviously, you've got Pascal Siakam putting up near MVP numbers at the start of the year. Faded off a little bit, but he's still an all-star starter. He's been elite throughout the course of this season. He can be a killer in late games. You've got Kyle Lowry, of course, as well, who is an absolute dog in the playoffs. I mean, I've got a full video on Kyle Lowry. I've got a full section on how clutch he is in the playoffs, because over the last 5 years, there is no player who has more clutch baskets than Kyle Lowry. A clutch basket, will define it as a bucket made with the score was in 3 points in the last 2 minutes of a game. Kyle Lowry tops the entire NBA in those buckets. He's got 14. LeBron James is second place with 11. Kevin Durant is in third place with 8. I do not want to hear Kyle Lowry slander. I do not want to hear that he's not good in the playoffs, because in elimination games for the Raptors, 7 total elimination games, he has averaged 21 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game on efficient shooting. This guy is a killer in the playoffs and will continue to show it this year. They've also got the reigning Eastern Conference Player of the Week, Norman Powell, having a breakout season. This guy is starting shooting guard caliber worthy, and we've got him as our 6th man. He can be a game changer, and that is why he was Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Not that that is, a real accolade, but this guy is a great player when he gets hot. And you've also got guys like Fred VanVleet Sr., who since the birth of Fred Jr. has been lights out from behind the arc. I mean, in the NBA Finals, Game 6, 22 second half points in the ultimate series deciding game. This guy fathered Steph Curry almost. I mean, Steph Curry got a lot of points, but Fred VanVleet on offense was absolutely tremendous, and Fred VanVleet one-on-one against Curry on defense was tremendous. Curry's points were not coming against Fred VanVleet, but Fred VanVleet was absolutely soaking from the perimeter, and he will be soaking from the perimeter this season. Reason number 4, we have Nick Nurse, who is going to win his first ever Coach of the Year this season. Yes, he is going to win it. You heard it here. He will be the Coach of the Year. He won the NBA championship as a rookie head coach, and in his second year, he will be the COT. Why? Because he orchestrates every little aspect of this team. Some teams go into every game with a same defensive plan, and some coaches will tailor their defensive plan to the team they're playing against. Nick Nurse seemingly has a defensive plan and orchestrates a defense differently for every single possession, it seems like. Nobody runs the box plus one truly like the Toronto Raptors do. Keeping Damian Lillard under 10 points earlier this season for the first time in 3 seasons, Damian Lillard didn't get 10 points, and he was saying, that is the best box one I have ever seen run. That kind of shit, how he runs against Giannis, how we forced Giannis to take a lot of bad shots last season in the postseason when we played them. That is why we won 4 straight games against the Milwaukee Bucks. Our ability to stop Giannis in the playoffs to a degree, but Nick Nurse is an absolute specialist on defense. But then you get to the offense. The reason there are so many killers on offense, like I was saying in reason number 3, is because Nick Nurse's offense allows all these guys to get open and get good shots. There's always that extra pass. They want to get the easy shot. And because there are all these talented players able to do so, these guys can trust their teammates to hit those shots. That's why there's such a cohesion, why there's so much chemistry within this team, because they trust each other to make those big shots. When there's so many guys who can hit those shots, and even if they're not hitting them, they let them continue to take them. Like Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol has hot games. Marc Gasol has cold games. We know he can get hot, but when he's open, even in cold games, Nick Nurse is telling that man to shoot the ball, because even if it's not going in, it will make you have to put a bit of defense on him to get somebody else open. And you know what? You keep letting him shoot, Marc Gasol is going to get hot from the top of the perimeter, dead on center. Those 3-pointers, that's Marc Gasol's game. When he gets hot, watch the fuck out. It's such intelligent and smart offensive sets that they run because of having such an elite coach like Nick Nurse. Reason number 5, the final reason, and maybe the most important reason. Championship DNA. This team has been there. They have not changed from last year, really. This is basically a great team that had Kawhi Leonard last year. You take out Kawhi Leonard, they are still a great team. And they have shown that, having the 3rd best record in the NBA heading into the bubble. They're going to be out there hungry for that championship, like I was saying earlier. And they have that in their DNA. They know what it's like. They have been there. These guys were there last year, doing it on the big stage, putting up huge numbers. Guys like Pascal Siakam, who basically sunned the self-proclaimed greatest defender of all time, Draymond Green, over the course of that series against the Warriors. I mean, the best spin move in the association. You've got Kyle Lowry, who is a killer in elimination games, like I was saying. A killer in that Game 6. I think he had 26 points. Fred VanVleet Sr., an absolute killer. All these dogs who have been there in those highest pressure situations, the NBA Finals. It doesn't get any more high pressure than that. And because they handled it before, they are going to be even better at handling it this time around. These guys know what it takes to get it done in the playoffs. That is why they're going to do it again. That wraps up this video, really showing my affinity and appreciation for this Toronto Raptors team. I truly think they can go out and win this championship. There's some other great teams. I might do more of these videos for other teams, like, you know, maybe the Lakers and Clippers, who I truly believe can go out and win the championship as well. But I really like the Raptors odds this year. They just seem so prepared. A lot of teams, you know, there's a lot of other stuff going on in the background. The Raptors are all basketball right now. But that wraps up this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, be sure to like the video if you like, and please subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content just like this. Talking a lot about the NBA, talking a lot about soccer, but when I talk about the NBA, usually it's about the Toronto Raptors, the team I truly love. But please hit the notification bell as well to stay up to date with the 4 episodes we post a week. I've been a bit slacking this week, but looking to get back on track with those 4 videos a week. At the end of the day, I believe what I say, and if you disagree, that's okay. We'll see you again next time.